Hello and welcome back. With today's video, I'm going back to my roots, as in lazy vegan recipe content. I just wanted to share with you a few really delicious, low-effort meals that I've been cooking up more often recently. And yeah, hope you enjoy. Let's get started with this first recipe. I call these Sushi Noodles. I'm not sure if this is an accurate title, but it makes sense in my head. First things first, I'm cooking up some glass noodles. And by cooking up some glass noodles, I mean pouring hot water on top of them and then letting them sit for about 10 minutes. In the meantime, I'm combining all the ingredients for the dressing. That's gonna be vegan mayonnaise, tahini, sriracha, soy sauce, white wine vinegar, agave syrup, and a little bit of water. And then the third and final component to this would be some shredded tofu, shredded smoked tofu in this case, some grated cucumber and carrot. Now it's time to bring it all together, the veggies, the noodles, the sauce. Realistically, I would just eat this straight out of this plate, but I wanted this to be pretty for you, so I transferred everything to a clean plate and topped everything off with some spring onion, sesame seeds. I usually like to add cilantro as well. We've got an iced matcha latte going in the background. And if you want some more spice in this, I've recently started getting into using gochugaru, which is Korean red pepper flakes, so I added some of those. Oh, and then I also added some of these wasabi seaweed snacks. Yeah, all these additional toppings are optional, but highly recommended. This next meal is super yummy, low amount of ingredients, not much effort. It's these crunchy tofu sticks with roasted pepper tahini sauce. For the tofu, we're cutting it into sticks and then we're going to cover them with cornstarch, salt, and panko breadcrumbs. Allow the tofu to cook in a non-stick skillet over medium to medium high. In the meantime, I am blending up the ingredients for the pepper sauce. Oh my god, wow. That actually worked. What the fuck? So it's gonna be 2 to 3 roasted bell peppers that come from the jar. I mean, you could technically roast these yourself, but that's a whole ordeal. Anyway, besides the roasted pepper, I'm adding soy sauce, white tahini, some vegan sour cream or cream cheese or hummus, some black pepper, and a bit of oat milk. You could also do water. Feel free to heat up the sauce before serving. I would recommend to serve this with some rice. You could also have this on toast. If you're feeling too lazy to cook up the tofu, you could also, of course, swap this for some store-bought meat alternative. Or if you have a bit of time on your hands, why not make some sushi or gimbap with it? Yeah, try not to overfill the nori and you should be good. Whichever version you choose, depending on how much time and effort you want to put in, they're all worth it. I recently also fell in love with this pasta dish. This is not your average pesto pasta, but more so inspired by the green goddess salads that we've seen over on TikTok. Cook up some pasta of your choosing. This can be regular pasta. It can also be some sort of gluten-free alternative, like this chickpea pasta here. Then to a small blender, I'm adding vegan cream cheese or sour cream or hummus, some lemon zest, lemon juice, agave syrup, fresh spinach, and fresh chives or basil or parsley or cilantro. I'm adding a bit of olive oil here to a small pan and letting some roughly chopped garlic cook in there for about 2 to 3 minutes. Technically, you can add just the raw garlic and oil separately, but I do prefer it much more when it's cooked. I also added some salt, some pepper, I had intended to add pasta water, but I forgot, so I had to go with regular water. Optionally, you can add some extra vegan cheese or nutritional yeast to kind of thicken up everything and give it a bit of a cheesy flavor. But yeah, that's it. Bring it all together and enjoy. You could of course also add other stuff, crispy tofu, some sesame seeds, cherry tomatoes, but even without anything added, it's so good. I've been making vegan omelets a lot lately, and my go-to recipe for that has changed a little bit, so here it goes. To a medium mixing bowl, I'm adding chickpea flour, vegan Parmesan cheese, here you can add nutritional yeast instead, lemon juice or vinegar, water, a few spices such as pepper and turmeric, some salt, and baking powder. Then I also added some chopped fresh spinach and mixed that in thoroughly. I brought a non-stick skillet with a bit of oil to medium heat. This mixture yields about 2 large omelets, and for each one I'm adding about 1 to 2 ladles of the mixture to the center of my pan, giving it about 2 to 3 minutes on each side, and that's pretty much it. This first one I topped with hummus, avocado, and some spicy pickled onions that I made the night before, plus some sesame seeds. For the onions, all I did was I peeled and then cut up some onions. I transferred that to a small jar and then added white wine vinegar, agave syrup, some Korean red pepper flakes, and salt, and some hot water. Close that off and then put this into the fridge overnight. Man, that was that. Okay, so this last and final meal is inspired by a TikTok that I saw recently. This meal may not be the prettiest, but it's so delicious and super high in protein as well. To a small blender, add the following things: some silken tofu, clove of garlic, vegan Parmesan cheese, or any other type of vegan cheese or nutritional yeast, pepper and turmeric, salt, lemon juice or vinegar, blend, and then transfer this to a saucepan and heat it up together with some beans of choice. I'm going for chickpeas. I'm also adding some chives here. I'm giving this about 3 to 5 minutes of simmering. And then if you would like a slightly thicker consistency, you could also add some in water dissolved cornstarch and then just allow everything to simmer for a few more minutes. This sauce on its own, even minus the chickpeas, is something I really want to try with pasta because it's so creamy and cheesy and it doesn't taste of tofu at all, at least to me. But yeah, I ended up having this on some bread next to some broccoli that I just chopped up and then steamed for a few minutes. To that, I also added a little bit of lemon juice and extra vegan cheese. But yeah, there you go. It's not the most aesthetic thing to eat, but it's really good and just so satisfying. But yeah, that is it from me today. That's all the recipes I've got. If you end up recreating any of these, let me know how they worked for you down below in the comments, or take a photo and send it to me over on Instagram.
Send it to me, Rachel.
Tag me in your story. I would love to see what you guys are cooking yourselves. But yeah, thank you so much for hanging out. Really appreciate it. I will talk to you soon.